It was a cold, rainy Friday evening in a small town in Pennsylvania. The kind of night where the wind cuts through your jacket and the streetlights reflect like tiny stars on the wet asphalt. For most people, evenings like this were perfect for curling up at home, maybe with a cup of coffee or a warm blanket. But for Ethan Carter, a single dad trying to juggle work, bills, and raising his 6-year-old son, Noah, life didn't offer the luxury of comfort. Life demanded attention, effort, and sometimes a bit of courage. Ethan had been working at a local auto repair shop for nearly 5 years. It wasn't glamorous, and it didn't pay much, but it was honest work. Every day, he woke up before dawn, made sure Noah had breakfast, and dropped him off at his after-school program before heading into the shop. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier, and since then, he had made a quiet but firm promise to himself. No matter how hard life got, he would raise Noah with love, kindness, and integrity, the values his wife had always cherished. That evening, Ethan stayed late at the shop, repairing a customer's car that had come in for an emergency fix. His boss, Mr. Peterson, was the kind of man who believed deadlines mattered more than decency. "You finished the car tonight, Ethan. No excuses," he barked, tossing a set of keys onto the counter. Ethan didn't argue. He knew better. Every dollar mattered, and bills didn't pay themselves. By the time he locked up, it was already past 9 p.m. The rain poured steadily, bouncing off the asphalt, and puddles formed around the dimly lit streets. Ethan's hands were greasy, his back sore, and all he wanted was to get home to Noah and maybe steal a few hours of rest. But life, as it often did, had other plans. As he drove, headlights cut through the rain, catching his attention. Up ahead, on the side of the road, he saw her, a young woman, visibly pregnant, standing beside her broken-down car. Her clothes were soaked, her umbrella flailing helplessly in the wind. She looked terrified, vulnerable, and utterly alone. Without thinking, Ethan slowed and rolled down his window. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked. The woman looked up, her eyes wide with worry. I think my car's dead," she stammered. "I'm late for a doctor's appointment. I don't know what to do." Ethan didn't hesitate. Despite the exhaustion, despite the chill that seeped into his bones, he pulled over. He grabbed his tools from the truck and got to work. While checking the engine and replacing a few parts, he learned her name was Emily. She was 8 months pregnant, new in town, and on her way to a late-night doctor's appointment when her car had broken down. Her phone battery had died, and she didn't have any family nearby. "I can't believe this is happening," Emily said, shivering as she wrapped her coat tighter around her. "Don't worry," Ethan said, smiling under his hood-stained hands. "I've got you. You'll be on your way in no time." When she offered him money for his help, he shook his head. "Just get home safe. That's enough for me." The rain stopped as she finally drove away, but Ethan's troubles were just beginning. The next morning, he arrived at work, soaked from the earlier storm and exhausted from a night of lost sleep. Mr. Peterson noticed immediately. "You're late again," Peterson snapped. Ethan tried to explain. "I stopped to help a woman. She's pregnant. Her car broke down last night. I couldn't just leave her there." Peterson's face hardened. "Ethan, you're not paid to play hero. You're paid to work. Hand in your tools. You're done here." Ethan felt his heart drop. Fired. Just like that. He walked out of the shop with a box of his belongings, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him. How would he tell Noah? How would he pay the bills? The weekend stretched ahead like a shadow, heavy and uncertain. Despite everything, Ethan tried to keep his promise to Noah. He explained, in as gentle way as he could, that sometimes doing the right thing isn't easy, but it's always worth it. And even in their little apartment, over take-out dinners and quiet evenings, he reminded himself that kindness had value, even when it went unnoticed. 3 days later, a phone call changed everything. It was the shop. Ethan answered hesitantly. "Ethan, I need you to come to the office." "Now," said a voice he didn't recognize. Confused, desperate, he drove back to the shop. As he entered, he froze. There she was, Emily, the same woman he had helped in the rain. But this time, she wasn't standing by a broken car. She was standing behind Mr. Peterson's desk, confident, composed, and glowing with warmth. "I was hoping I'd see you again," she said, smiling at him. It turned out Emily wasn't just a stranded pregnant woman. She was a new owner of the auto repair chain. Her father had recently handed her control of several branches, and she had decided to make an unannounced visit to see how the employees were treated. When she learned that Ethan had been fired simply for showing kindness, she was furious. "You fired a man for being kind?" she asked sharply, turning to Peterson. Peterson, caught off guard, could only stammer. "That's not the kind of business I want to run," Emily continued. "You're fired." Then she turned to Ethan. Her expression softened. "And as for you, I'd like you to be the new manager of this shop. People like you are exactly who we need." Ethan stood there, speechless, his mind racing. The same act of kindness that had cost him his job had now opened a door to a better life, a life where his integrity, patience, and compassion were recognized and valued. In the weeks that followed, life began to turn around. Ethan and Noah moved into a larger apartment, where Noah had space to play and study comfortably. Ethan was earning more, had benefits, and could finally carve out time to take his son fishing, a pastime he had missed daily. But beyond the material changes, Ethan had learned something profound. Kindness doesn't need to be witnessed or rewarded to matter. Its impact often ripples quietly, unseen, only to return when least expected. Ethan's story became a quiet reminder that doing the right thing, helping someone in need, even when no one is watching, can change lives in unimaginable ways. Emily had walked into his life as a stranger, but her arrival marked a turning point not only for Ethan but for Noah, who watched his father with awe, learning that integrity and compassion were more powerful than any paycheck or title. So, the next time you see someone in need, remember Ethan and Emily. A small act of kindness, just a helping hand, a reassuring word, or a moment of patience, can create a chain reaction that changes everything. Because sometimes, when you give from the heart, life finds a way to give back, in ways you could never imagine. Thank you for watching Classic Stories. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that remind us how powerful compassion truly is.